the experience that I had, because I was sort of struggling with, being a teenager and feeling like I could relate to all of these guys professionally, but not on the personal level that I so desperately wanted to. Like I just felt like I wasn't cool enough and I wasn't smart enough, and I cherished those times when we got to do scenes together that I felt were well written, and scenes where I got to do more than, hey guys, look, if you push the red button on the repulsor beam, it's going to emit an inverse neutrino pulse into the heart of the anomaly, and then we're going to send nanites off to a tachyon farm. One of the things that I completely took for granted when we worked on Next Generation is being in a cast that loves each other, and being on a set that's really happy to be there. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, John, maybe 10 years ago, I saw you somewhere and I asked you, the way that I remember it is that we loved each other.
Yes.
And the way that I remember it is that we had fun together, and we looked forward to work every day. And we felt like we were doing something cool. Is that really the way it was?
I do remember.
Or is that just, my memory? And you said to me, that's the way it was, man. We had lightning in a bottle.
Yep.
And when I work on a show that has something like that, Eureka's like that, Big Bang Theory's like that, I'm really grateful for it.
We were blessed.
If I've taken anything away from the experience, it's that, because I have not had that same experience duplicated anywhere else in my career since, and I'm always cognizant of now being truly appreciative of the moments, because those were some of the best 7 years I could ever think of having. And when you're in the middle of it, you think it's going to last forever.
Yeah.
And you look up and the experience is over, and you have your memories to look back on. But I'm really, really appreciative of the moments now. Just knowing when you have a good moment, cherish it, because it may not come again.
I saw this website where someone...
Well, that was depressing, wasn't it?
I was actually emotional.
Okay.
I felt,
It was very tender. I was moved.
Were you? Yes,
I saw a website where someone had scanned a ton of kind of behind the scenes publicity photos that they took during the first few years of production. And there's maybe 8 pages of these black and white photos from stage 6 and stage 9. And I remember sitting down at my desk in my office maybe 5 or 6 months ago looking at these. And by the time I was through it, I was weeping. Because these moments, it's different from watching the show. When I watch the show now, I remember the stuff that went on when we made it, and I remember what that episode was about, and what that guest star was like, and things like that. But these were our private moments. These were us between scenes, and I can see just you guys looking at each other, and I'm not in a lot of these pictures, but the ones that I am, I clearly remember. Well, because I go to school and stuff. I just didn't get to be there that much.
We didn't like you all that
I know. I was throwing off the cool curve all over the place, and I feel bad about it.
No, that's not true. You know how we feel about you.
But getting to look at that stuff and see that all again, it was this view back into that amazing time that I just don't get to take that often.
So, what moments that might lead to mind back in those lightning in a bottle years, that maybe at the time you didn't appreciate that moment, maybe at the time it was a little difficult, but now you look back and you have a fond memory of that struggle or that obstacle?
Anytime Jonathan took the microphone, the imaginary microphone, to sing Volaria was always a good moment.
Best moments ever.
Are you a crooner, sir?
I've been... Magical singing moment that I think you may remember. When Denise Crosby used to play Lieutenant Natasha Pookie Yar, made the spectacular career choice to leave the show. Gene Roddenberry beautiful episode in which she died and we mourned her death, and it was art imitating life because we didn't want Denise to leave because she was a member of the same family that Will and LeVar just referred to. And we were very sad as characters, and we were very sad as people. And Patrick came through the holodeck door onto the grassy knoll in which she was being buried, if you recall, and sang, "The hills!"
And twirled when he got to the top of the hill. His arms fully extended.
Sort of a Nancy kind of English twirl.
Very Nancy, as I recall.
But such commitment.
And he hadn't even been drinking.
Going back to, you mentioned some guest stars and what guest stars were like. Do any guest stars strike you? I don't want you to get yourself in trouble by revealing who was a complete jerk that you might have to work with.
Mick Fleetwood was a fish from Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah?
That was cool. Michelle Phillips was somebody alien.
The late, great, and talented Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons.
Oscar
Yes.
winning.
Yes.
John Tesh played a Klingon.
True.
Tesh
played a Klingon?
Yeah.
Both Madge Sinclair, the woman who played Kunta's wife
Oh, yes.
in Roots, played my mother, and the fabulously talented Ben Vereen played my father in Star Trek. Those were great moments.
I had a really great time working with Robbie McNeil, who went on to be on Voyager, because it was the first and last time I spent the majority of an episode with people that were about my own age, and it was the first time that those the personal and professional kind of like we can hang out together kind of things melded together.
Was that on the planet with the people who were into like having sex all the time?
No, that would have been the first season Craptacular Justice. Where they clothed the entire planet in 16 yards of fabric. That's the episode. Listen, this is a wonderful story. This is an episode where Picard violates the Prime Directive by bringing the leader of the planet back to his quarters to show her God, because God is outside the ship, and it's a wonderful homage to the original series, because every time Captain Kirk would bring a girl back to the ship, he would show her God.
You can sort of see that one coming.
I think the first few million miles on the Enterprise were probably in Kirk's bed, right? So, did you ever meet anybody that worked on the show that maybe was either a longtime hero, somebody who was like, oh, I can't believe I'm getting the opportunity to work with this person, it was a wonderful opportunity, or perhaps somebody you worked with that completely violated your expectations, either they were meaner or much nicer than you expected them to be?
I did an episode called Relics with Jimmy Doohan. Does that count?
Yeah, that was pretty
Who would you like to work with that you have not yet had the opportunity to work with?
On Star Trek?
I'd like to work with the guy that built the time machine that let us go back to work on Star Trek. That's the guy.
Yeah, let's talk to him. Yeah. How cool was it when Stephen Hawking was on the show?
That was cool. That was cool. That was cool. Yeah, thank you.
That got my geek meter going.
Yeah.
See, you're a little geek in there. You got
I
some
have a
geek in there.
little geek in me.
Right on.
He was awesome.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. All my friends, we were pretty stoked. It was a pretty
Well, he
epic
said
moment.
to us through his wonderful communication device, between solving quantum physics problems, I like to sneak in the occasional TV guest star. Stephen Hawking? How cool is that?
That is pretty nice.
Yeah,
He has a little no collar in him.
yeah. It's just awesome.